All right, hey y'all. Welcome to another stream. Hopefully the music's okay. I'm still a bit, I don't know what's going on with Elgato. Like I can't hear like my stream mix, but hello and welcome. CJ, look what you made me do. Yeah, Taylor was last night. It was a great time. Had a good time. Oh, of course it froze. Hopefully it's back. Never mind, we're good. Okay, great. Sweet. Cool. So Peabody asked, and I really want to pick this up. So they're in the countdown. Peabody asked, do you use a cheat sheet or have a way to remember when to use @state, @published, @binding? These are really confusing. Like the property wrappers are super duper confusing to be honest. Apple has a, it might be my internet. So if it's starting to like freeze, definitely let me know and I'll kill streams and go try a different way. Hopefully it's not though. I don't think I had issues last time, but I definitely still could. All right. So Peabody, you asked, do I use cheat sheet or have a way to remember when to use all these property wrappers when dealing with state and SwiftUI? To be honest, I don't use a cheat sheet. I actually kind of slightly remember exactly what where they go and what to use. So there's a few, as you mentioned, there's a few different property wrappers for managing state currently in SwiftUI. Hey BitSpectre, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, so there's a few different property wrappers when you're dealing with when you're dealing with state in SwiftUI. You have the @state, the @state object, the @binding, the @observable object. There is a lot that comes with it. But in iOS 17, there's another new thing that you need to know about, and that's observable. And that makes things a lot easier. So you kind of don't have to worry about, I don't think you have to worry about state objects or observable objects as much anymore, but in the pre-iOS 17 days, you definitely still do. And for me, I personally don't use a cheat sheet. I just kind of remember @state is for like single structs, is for like a data type itself. So if you're gonna do the @state, usually you're using like a string, int, the native data types, or you have a custom struct that you're using it with. So like in my case for the app, for the coffee bean tracking app, you use @state with the like bean itself, since that is a single struct. You don't use it with like reference types, like classes and such. You use it with value types. Now the @binding is used whenever you want to pass that state value to another view, and you want that view to be able to populate those changes back up the chain, basically. or be able to just adjust those values in that data type. So those are kind of like, those go hand in hand. You usually don't, and like the big rule of thumb I follow, and like try to keep this as a very hard rule, is you don't use @binding when you declare a value. You use @binding when you pass in the value. Next is I don't think there's an @publishing property wrapper, to be honest. But like I said, @state object, those are used with your classes, and that's what you use generally for your reference types. That way it can hook in and find, like, I don't actually know why Apple made a separate property wrapper at that point. But yeah, so @state object is used with your, @state object is used with your when you're like referencing your type already. You're right. @publishing is @published is totally a property wrapper, and that's used inside view models, basically, usually, or inside classes that you want to keep, observable object classes that you want to keep track of those changes. And that is a completely different beast. It's closer to like an @state publishing, an @state wrapper, because an @publish is going to create a combined publisher that you can subscribe to and do a bunch of stuff with. Yeah, so that's like, it's like a shorthand for creating a combined combined publisher. And then @observable object, we use it, is very similar to @binding, but it's for state objects and for observed objects. So like, and usually again, @observable objects, you don't actually declare the property there, you actually reference the property. So either it's passed in, or usually it's passed in, or there's just another value that you have that you're observing somewhere. So you don't usually declare the value with an observable object. And they each have, so state object, and observable object each have their own, like, how they hold on to those values, right? And so it just gets really deep, and why it's probably useful to have a cheat sheet. I have my guidelines that I go by, and they kind of help me like determine what to use. I believe there is a handy dandy website though. SwiftUI property wrappers, SwiftUI propertywrappers.com. Very handy dandy website, and it shows kind of what property wrapper you kind of want to use in SwiftUI, and that way you can kind of like, if you're gonna have a cheat sheet, this is a really nice one. The @published wrapper, like I said, doesn't always the @published wrapper doesn't just apply to SwiftUI though, so that can be used in any project, because @published is a combined shorthand. Yeah, I'll drop this here, so. And it just kind of shows you the different ones. I don't know the last time this was updated, so this could be a little bit out of date, but it is pretty nifty and gives a good little, and it gives a nice little overview of what to do. And I think Paul Hudson also has one explaining things. This was last updated it says it was updated for Xcode 15, so it looks like there's some stuff that you can grab in here. And there's a lot more property wrappers, but for the main ones handling state, there's just some rule of thumbs to go by, that if you remember the rule of thumbs, the guidelines, you should probably be pretty good. Hey, Osaka, what is going... Oscar? Sorry. Oscar Rhythm. I need better glasses, apparently. Hello. Nice to see you again. And yeah, love supporting the Swift community here. But yeah, so this is actually a really good guide as well. Like I said, there is a lot of stuff that did change around state with iOS 17. So if you're supporting iOS 17, @state becomes a little bit more flexible as well with this, which is what we'll be doing in my app. But yeah, so that's a very quick overview of like Swift property wrappers, or SwiftUI property wrappers when handling state, I guess I should say. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, okay, let's see what happens. This is probably gonna kill my stream now. I totally forgot to install, installing 7 gigs of data is not gonna be harmful for the stream, right? Totally forgot to install the simulators, which is great. I updated Xcode, but totally forgot this. Yeah. So how's it going, y'all? While we're waiting for this to update. Also, I guess I can give an update as to like what I've done before. Let's move themes. Hey, Dobby, stop. Thank you. Yeah, so let's just do a quick little overview of what's going on. Yeah, had to download that earlier, and then of course 15 minutes later had to verify it. Yeah. I totally get it. So it's cool if y'all don't use, if you install if you're managing multiple versions of Xcodes, I'm gonna suggest a tool here. I use this app called Xcodes to actually manage the different Xcode versions I have on my computer. This is by a app developer, Matt. I forgot his last name, but if you type in Xcodes app GitHub, you'll probably find it. Super great to support to get all the different versions, and then also you can install the platforms on top of that. So separately, so if I had remembered that the Xcode platform wasn't that the iOS platform wasn't going to be there at the same time, I could have just installed here and it would go, which is really nice and easy. But yeah, so if you're managing separate Xcode versions, I definitely suggest it. Because, like I said, you can also get that platform downloaded pretty quickly. Here it is. I'm a fan of the... I'm a fan of the tool itself and not the CLI, like the GUI. So that's what I just linked right now. But super great app and works nicely. Oh, where did chat go? Oh no, hold on, I lost chat. Window, option, Windows. Where did chat go? There it is. All right, I have it back. All right, we're good. Are we good at almost installing? Okay. So what we did last time, where we're going to pick up today, is last time we were able to write to the data. So we could write to Firebase, which was really nice. Oops. Hold on, let me get logged in real quick. Hey, Dobby, cut it out. Dobby, you don't have a reason to be nervous. Everything is fine. Cool. So yeah, this time we were able to write beans to the database, get them all written in. Also get the roast styles and such in here. So this roast underscore style matches the what's in the database. So a user can write to their beans database. What we're working on now is getting that data out of Firebase and into the app itself via a snapshot listener. Yeah. All right, so now we are verifying. Great. Can I just do 15.17.2? All right, so I really needed to be able to, that's gonna keep verifying. Where was my issue? Let's run it and see what happens. Oops. Cannot return value type bean. So this was like the error that I left on last time. So it creates a snapshot, and I was trying to get the snapshot data out of this compact map to be a bean type, is what it seems like. Let's grab the docs, build. I went for Firebase. For Firestore is just to give an overview as to why. Like, I went to Firebase this time. I've talked about this in previous episodes, previous parts, which you can watch on YouTube, or I think they might be on, some of them might be on here. I chose to go to Firestore just because of quick and easiness, dealing with like authentication and dealing with security, like user security. Like the Firestore rules are really easy to actually get working correctly. So that's the reason there. Read data, get data. Get all documents in a collection. Okay, so like why? So we know we want this to be an array of bean. But what is... Cannot convert type. Yeah, I think that's what it's... I thought that's what was supposed to happen. Okay, let's try something. What's a map? Returns an array. Let's try this. Well, this is actually grabbing the doc, right? All right, let's as bean dot self, because we're going to use the bean type. Error is not handled in a map. Cool. Cannot convert value of type bean to closure type. But why? I'm not trying to do this. Let's see. Oh, my bitrate went way down. Hopefully it's still okay though. I'm guessing that was from the verifying stuff. Go away. All right, sorry. So it looks like beans should be taking an optional bean. And I'm still not quite sure why we have this as an option. Self dot. Beans equals beans. Yeah. How can I get rid of the nils in here though? Hey, Mr. Kawi girl, what's up? How are you doing? I'm doing great. Today is gonna be a good day. See, I wanna if let bean return bean. See, else I want to continue. I don't think that's what I mean, like, I do want to continue, but, nice, yeah. Matt, Swift. You can easily filter out by using the compact map. Well, I tried to use the compact map and it was not happy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've definitely been enjoying the streams quite a bit lately. So yeah, it's been a good time. But I'm glad that you're also enjoying them. All right, let's comment this out. Let found beans equal snapshot dot documents dot compact map. Snapshot in doc snap in, let's just be specific, dot data as bean dot self. And then that gives me the beans. So then we can do beans self.beans equals found beans. I think that should be right. Let's run it and find out. Unable to install. Okay, let's just try to go to 17.4. Because I'm fine with that. I just... We're gonna install a whole new, let's use 17.4. I don't need this one. Let's see what happens. All right, today I do have like a hard stop at like 11:30. Are you kidding me? Where I got again? Info.plist. Failed to load info.plist file. This doesn't make sense. Like, why? Okay. Was I not supposed to update? Let's quit that and let's try an old version of Xcode. Let's try a new version and see what happens. I don't know if it's going to open though, but... It's fetching the dependencies, looks fine. Let's run and see what happens. When in doubt, I just like to try a new Xcode, a different Xcode version, especially if I just updated. I apparently have a... Do not know how that is supposed to work all the time. Let's see. I really need to stop just updating things right before the stream, basically, because one time I broke my headphones, like where I can't just hear very easily the stream, like monitor. This time, now I have like the app wouldn't launch. I just need to be a little bit more prepared. But it looks like it's launching. It's just It's taking a really long time to actually launch. There we go. It should have picked up though. I don't know, let's try this. Okay, and we have 5 beans. Okay, I just don't think I'm reading them in right now, so let's go to beans list view, I think. So it's gonna get it from Firebase. We already have the client. So how this Firebase client set up is there's a class that holds on to basically a preview or a live class, depending on if I want to target previews or if I want to target the live app. So in the live app, we also have this variable called beans, and this is gonna be where we read that data from. So that's what we just wrote the beans that we were listening to for inside the firestore client, inside the firestore like interaction part here. So we're writing to this beans here. The preview should also have that beans actually. So let's add this and let's put it as part of the protocol. Oh, whoops. There we go. Because I want the preview to also make sure, I want to make sure that everything is in line the same way. So let's public var beans equals bean dot mock dot cool. And again, it's just to give me something that I know will work with my preview, so I don't have to keep going. So I don't have to. It's just so that I can use my previews without connecting to Firebase right now. I currently have Firebase in a package, but I have all the setup code in the app project itself. So if I were to run my previews that are in a package, it wouldn't be able to connect to each other. So that's the whole point of this like client here. So beans list view, beans here. So we're just getting the state private variable here from beans. We don't even need this, right? We can just say wherever beans is, we'll do fb dot client dot beans. So it's a little convoluted because we have to go through the client with how I set it up, but that's okay right now. So now I think if I run this, it should work. Sweet, we have test 22, testing snapshot. Awesome. And I think if I do this again, so here's another test. Dark roast. We don't, let's just say we don't have a roaster right now. It just gets added right there, which is great. Horrible that it's centered, like the title, but like we got another like text here, which is great. Like that's exactly what I wanted. And it just gets added in. It'd be great if I could animate those in like nicely. All right, we'll figure that out later. But before I lose track of it. $6,412, thank you for the follow. How's it going? What's up? And also, thanks for the first time chat. How's it going? Add animation for the fade in the new coffee. fade in new bean when form closes. Cool. So it looks like we're able to read. Looks like we're able to... Saw on the Dev Club Discord that I was live. I was online. Nice. Awesome. Yeah. I definitely appreciate you dropping by. Nice. Yeah, Shadow Mono in the Discord set up a really nice little Discord bot that like shows when everyone's live in the Dev Club Discord. I don't know if I have that link here. Thank you also for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, same. Definitely favorite Kiwi as well. Definitely appreciate the subscription. It's gonna go towards probably more coffee, so I'm not just using these test cases here. Cool. Let's see. Always gonna have all the fuel, all the coffee to go through. Let's go on. Okay, so we can read it in. I think that satisfies this ticket. Read and list the user's beans from Firestore, basically. Yeah. Let's get this in. Whoops. Git commit -m feature read beans from Firestore. And let's make a PR. So as I've mentioned, y'all, reminds you need to go get a new scale. Oh, I also need a new kitchen scale. Actually, I noticed that mine is like really fluctuating back and forth on the like, which is really odd. So like if I leave something on the scale for a bit, I notice like the weight starts dropping. I've been like also using it for weighing like my food recently, and it's not been a good time, and it makes me question the accuracy. So yeah, I also need to do that. Store and read data from Firestore. You bought 2 a few months ago to see which one works best, but both are like 1 to 2 grams off. So when it comes to making a nice espresso, oh yeah, that's definitely a I will do the hydrate. I also have water here. But yeah, the 1 to 2 grams off makes it really hard for the espresso shot, like balancing. Sorry, Roomba got stuck there for a moment, so I had to go get Roomba out of the room. Hydrate. I took both sips, so I hope that works. Complete. Sweet. Yeah, the scale being off is definitely not fun. I forgot. I changed my default browser, but I'm still using Arc for this. All right, so we have these features. So once that gets through, that should, we need to also close the, that one, 90, sweet. Oh, yeah, I have a $63 in freedom amounts. I have a really hard time spending like $60, $50 on a scale, but who knows? Maybe I'll get enough subscriptions to purchase a fancy scale like that. I think I recently saw a scale for like $100+, which was also, I think, ridiculous. Not ridiculous, like they're supposed to be good for what they are, but like I feel like some of these are just more so more so like because of the name brand, but I don't know. Cool. So just a reminder, y'all, this is open source. My issues aren't the greatest, but if you're interested in helping me out, I can definitely add more info to it. So feel free to, go check it out if you're looking for like a Swift project. Yeah. How am I finding art? You used it last year you've used it for about a year, but you're thinking about going back to Safari. Fun fact, I'm actually going back to Safari. I'm working on making that like switch back to Safari. Actually, Arc caused me a couple pains recently with not being able to submit things because of the default like ad blocker in it. And I didn't get like the way that it blocked the submissions for these forms didn't cause the form to actually didn't actually cause like the form to fail the submission though. So I'm actually really finding Arc frustrating right now, and so I'm also in the process of switching back to Safari. Yeah, somehow like the form submitted both on like a TikTok upload and then also on a an actual like patient form for a doctor form submitted, right? Like it gave me confirmation on the page that it submitted, but the TikTok video did not upload and the form for the doctor actually did not end up going through. And it took me so long to figure out both that it did not go through, that it was just really, really hard. Aside from that, because I can just turn that off, like I love everything else about Arc though. Like the way it handles profiles is great. The way, I don't mind the way the bookmarking works, but maybe that's because I'm not a heavy bookmarker user. But yeah, I found the profiles really nice as well. So yeah, I don't know. It's aside from like the ad blocker that's built in, like allowing for like false positives to happen. Like I honestly really like the browser. So I'm also just deciding, do I just turn off the ad blocker, which I don't want to do, but like I could. But I know a lot of people don't like the bookmarking system, to be honest. You're not the only one. You need a browser that's lightweight with an ad blocker and a dark mode extension if you're happy. In that case, just go back to Safari maybe. They have you can probably get an ad blocker. I'm not sure about the dark mode extension, like how deep you need it to go, but I've never had an issue with like dark mode versus light mode there. Thank you for the star though. I appreciate it. Let's see what's going on here. Sweet. Let's merge that in. All right, we have. That's been done. Okay. So we will figure out the next one. I feel like I should do all the private stuff first and then worry about the public stuff. Then we gotta get it. Allow a user to add photos to a beam. We'll convert this to an issue. Sweet. You've gone full default and you don't even use iTerm 2 anymore or NeoVim after 11 years. Nice. That's awesome. And you use Emacs for Maggot to handle Git stuff and VS Code and /Xcode for coding. Nice. Yeah. Defaults have gotten way better, to be honest. I feel like. I mean, I use VS Code and it's good for my coding stuff. I do like not default apps. I've learned a lot though. Like I'm using Warp for terminal stuff. It just looks nicer in my opinion. I could probably get the terminal to do this right too, but there's just some stuff in it that I currently really like how it functions. And then Xcode, I feel like because I'm doing a SwiftUI, like a SwiftUI style app, like there's no going back from it as well. I wish I could find a better terminal. I wish I could find a better code editor than VS Code though. Like VS Code is so flexible and it's really nice, but it's also, because it's so flexible, it's really easy for me to just mess up a config somewhere. Default term with oh my ZSH is enough for you. Nice. You know what, to be honest, it's probably enough for me too. I don't do enough in the terminal, but yeah. I really like it. Like, how am I finding being an iOS dev? Yeah, I really like it. It's really enjoyable. It's a really nice time for me. I like being able to, what do I like about it? It's great. I like that I'm getting paid for what I really like to do and what I really enjoy doing. It's just and the thing that I'm butting up against is because I do enjoy like iOS app development a lot. I'm starting to realize I enjoy it more for doing it for myself than I do like other people's visions, which is fine. And like, but like the day job pays the bills, obviously. So like, it's just trying to also like get in my head like, hey, I don't get to fully like shape a feature. I have to also pay attention to what like the business needs and stuff are. So yeah. And then on top of that, like what I also really like about being at a company is like there's chances to be and I'm at a startup, right? So like there's a lot, it's a lot more flexible at the same time. Like right now I'm working on this because we're doing our server side component in Swift. I get to actually like cross over into the Swift side, into like server side Swift development now and not just focus on the iOS app, which has also been really fun. It's a really nice like difference that I actually haven't really done in a while. Like I haven't really ever like tried to do like fully on my own. So it's really nice to hop back and forth between the two. You did everything in the last 5 years, only the last 3 you've worked full time and the other 2 are contract. Yeah. This is my first iOS gig. I've done a couple like contract gigs, but this is like first full time iOS gig, and it's been great. It's been awesome. Yeah, Zed. I've used Zed before. I have it, I think, right? Yeah, I used Zed. I didn't like the autocomplete. The really hard part for me is finding an autocomplete that works for me, basically. So I haven't been able to do that yet, which is the hard part. Like the autocomplete in Zed just did not work in my Astro project, which is really sad. So yeah, it's hard to beat VS Code with that. All right, let's do the roasters and set up the roasters now, because the issue with the roasters is they actually have a relationship with the beans. So if you have a roaster can have multiple beans, but a bean can only be assigned to one roaster. So that's going to be a little fun thing to get in there. You did Flutter and Scala first contract. Second was Flutter React. Third was PHP and Go. You interviewed for a backend TypeScript role, but they diverted you to the mobile department during the interview process. And now you do a lot of React Native and a bunch of Swift for our SDK stuff. Nice. That's a nice like round balance out. That's awesome. I haven't touched any of the cross-platform stuff, but I have done like TypeScript and JavaScript before for like contract work and stuff. Yeah, but I usually stay away from like the cross-platform like app development stuff just because it's always been for my own fun. So I've always just stayed with like native Swift and stuff. All right, so we're gonna get the. Ooh, I didn't actually finish this part. I realized. Let's put this back. Close. Closed. New bean form when bean is successful. Successfully added. Cool. Let's do this actually, because I totally forgot to do that. You did if you've ever looked at Raycast, I did do a Raycast extension for coffee stuff. Ooh, let's go check it out. Oh, nice. So does it connect to... Sweet. That's really cool. And then it connects to Notion then? Because it says you use Notion to see how this comes out. That's really awesome. And then you did another one because you're really childish. Let's go check that one out too. It's a heavy coffee. Drink your boredom. Nice. That's awesome. I actually came across a TikTok that of someone who uses like an NFC sticker to track their bathroom situation as well. Yeah, that was a nice little TikTok video, and now I have a not that I'm gonna like do that necessarily, but I have an NFC pack, a pack of NFC stickers coming again, so I can start tracking some other stuff. Possibly using it to track like coffee intake and stuff, just putting a little NFC tag there so I can just next to like everything I do. But yeah, those are super awesome. It's a form you fill out, and then there's another page that has a list of all the coffees you've tracked, and I did the same thing on the boop thing. Nice, nice. That's awesome. Okay, so here we have... I need to... So when the form is submitted, like the save button needs to close, basically. It's a Spotlight replacement button. Yeah. I use Raycast, actually. Probably not as noticeable, but yeah, I totally, like, I love Raycast. Like, the schedule is super awesome. Also being able to get like shortcuts and stuff, like running directly from Raycast, like super great. All right, sounds good. 6412. I really appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, hopefully you get the next one at the same time. I try to go for the same time every single week on Fridays. I'm only streaming 1 day a week, or committing to trying to stream 1 day a week, just for consistency purposes. All right, so we have the save function. Try. This is where we want to dismiss. Cool. Honestly, it's just this one little line here should allow me to do this. Is it okay to call dismiss in an async function? I feel like that's okay to do, but I guess I can run it and see what happens. Cool. So yeah, it did not have an issue whatsoever. Looks like. Wait, synchronous remote object proxy returned. That doesn't look like it's a me issue. Sweet. It says I have 7, but I only see 6 in here. Some things I did notice I'm not tracking that I probably want to track inside the bean, just to give people like options to sort at some point, is the date it was added and the date it was modified. So that creates, so let's go to bean. So we need to do a date added, I'd imagine. Now this is getting outside the scope of this PR, but that's okay. Why? Oh, state added, self dot date modified equals date modified. Sweet. And let's get these added in, case date added. All right, so these are actually should be timestamp values, I believe, is what Firebase calls them. All right, so let's see here. Add manage data. Is this it? No. Add data. There should be one that has server timestamp. There we go. So it looks like I could probably do a try await db.collection document server timestamps. I think that'll work. Let's try. So inside the client live firestore here, where we do this, we also want to do try beans collection ref document. Oh, let's get the let doc ref, or let new bean ref. Is that right? Yeah. So this is going to create a new bean reference at this document. So then we can do this. Try new bean ref dot. Wait, is it? Oh, yeah, I don't want that. And let's remove the scheme so I can build a little bit faster. So that's going to update all the data from bean here. And then we need to set this to a server timestamp, right? Is that what it says? Yeah, the server timestamp value. This field value.server timestamp. That way it gets overridden with what's actually on Firestore, and it's not just based on the user's device. So field value.server timestamp. What's wrong here? Yeah, sure. And it's async. Okay, so great. So there's two things we need to update here. The date added. Okay, cool. So because it's going to be the same transaction, they'll get the same timestamp value. Something I was nervous about was calling this server timestamp a second time, because I thought that it would be a slightly off, but I don't think that's the case here, because I'll just do this. Date modified. Cool. That's fine. So I think this should work fine now. So let's go to... I just want to see it get updated. It might cause some issues actually because I'm guessing there's nothing in that date field, so it's not grabbing them now. But I bet if I go into my Firestore, it's all going to be there. It just doesn't have the date added and date modified. Which is fine. We can just delete them now. Oh. Cool. The next time I get a date added next time I add a bean, it'll add a whole new collection back. So sweet. This is why I'm also like working just by myself right now, because I don't care if the data gets taken away. I can just kind of figure out what I need as I need it. All right, git add. Close new bean form on success. Successful addition. And date added and date modified to Firestore. Document closes number 95. All right, so GA get checkout main. You know what, y'all? I know I've only been going for an hour, and I think that's okay. Like I said, I had a hard stop at 30 minutes anyway. Since I haven't actually started this, that'll be done soon. Since I actually haven't started this ticket, I don't want to start this on stream. We'll start it next week and keep going after next week to get the roaster in and figure out that connection between the two. I'm going to go ahead and stop today. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. It's definitely been a good time. We had some really good conversations, stuff like that. Wow. Thanks y'all for hanging out. We had a really good time. I had a really good time, at least, having the conversations and stuff. Definitely feel free to join the Discord. It's a super fun time. I think it's a super fun time. I'm starting to be a little bit more active in it again. Feel free to also come and hang out on YouTube. So Hey J Codes, and you can go and watch all of these back, or Hey J Wilson for more like vlog style stuff. And with that being said, I will catch you next week where we'll pick up adding roasters and stuff to the Firestore. Bye everyone.